07 show, my name's CCP Sledgehammer. I'm joined here by Sindel Pellion, CCP Frame, and CCP Ratatti. We heard at the end there about the new developments coming from the Shanghai studio, Project Nova. So, Sindel, I hear you have some questions for these guys.
I do. I mean, we got to see a little bit about it right at the very end. But what exactly is Project Nova?
It's a new first-person shooter, like he said, in Unreal Engine 4 on the PC. It's our attempt on making a new on-the-ground shooter in New Eden.
So, well, there's obviously many avid Dust 514 fans. Sad to hear that that's going the way of the dodo. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're bringing from that into Project Nova?
So, of course, the game is being the same setting, the Immortal Mercenary in New Eden. It has it's inspired and shares a lot of the kind of development DNA that Dust has. You could see that if you played Dust 514, you recognize some of the assets, like some of the weapons, some of the models. Some of the gameplay elements, for sure, the ones that we liked. Some of them will not survive. But basically, our most important kind of focus for this game is to kind of scale back a little bit on the MMO ambition and deliver a really hardcore competitive shooter with great performance, great second-to-second, minute-to-minute gameplay. Shooting, aiming, moving, all these things should be top-notch. Some of the things that we think are really important for early retention and long-term engagement is to have a kick-ass shooter.
So, Frame, you came from the community of Dust 514 originally.
Yes.
What's your role with Nova?
So for Nova, I will be also involved heavily within the marketing team and the community team together to make sure that the transition and the announcement of since we announced the shutdown of Dust, that we are going to be recognizing the veterans of Dust 114, and that will be happening later if the project pans out to be well received within the player community, especially here in Fanfest, because we are showing fully playable game here on the show floor, and we will see how the players react to it for the first time.
So, how many players can we expect to see in the demo on each side of each team?
So
here at Fanfest?
It is going to be a setup of 6 versus 6.
6v6.
Yeah, the machines are already up and running, and everybody can just jump in and play. It is a game mode acquisition, so capture and hold, very straightforward. But we believe that works really well for the demo purposes and to showcase Unreal 4 and its performance and how far the game has already come in comparison to Dust 114 in Unreal 3. So, yeah.
And I've been told that it's Chimera? Like you're going to be fighting
it's
on...
It's inside the Chimera class carrier.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's something that's really important for us to actually move away from planets, or stick with planets, but the focus is space. We never did see enough of Eve in playing Dust 514. So being aboard ships, being on asteroids, seeing Eve ships, whether it's through loading screens or actual maps or just the immersion of the game, that's something we really want to take to the next level.
Cool. I'm really looking forward to trying it out. It's I've had some history with Dust 514, and I'm really eager to see what you guys are going to do with it.
Yeah, you should have fun. I'm a hardcore FPS guy, and on mouse keyboard, never really good at console. And I feel it's really great. Like, it's hitting the good shooter mechanics, like double jumping on some classes. For example, the Infiltrator, which is a scout type class. And the Heavy Sentinel feels heavy and burly, not necessarily the killing machine that it used to be, but it's more survivable and less assault. So we kind of already have these defined roles that are working well, kind of a counterplay gameplay. You can't necessarily go head to head with everyone against everyone.
Paper,
You need to
scissors,
be
stone
smart.
style
Yeah,
thing.
a little bit of that. Something we want to explore also is more of the combined roles, like a combination of tank DPS healer is something that will become more important than in the past.
Now, you mentioned the
Teamwork.
classes there. Is that still going to be tied to the drop suit that you're wearing, or is it a conscious choice that you make when you spin up a character?
So, like I mentioned in the press conference in the beginning, that now I see none of you actually saw, we are going into more of a new kind of progression. It has the same freedom, but it's not as meant to be as confusing as the Eve-like skill tree of the past. So it's more about giving you a lot of options in the beginning to try out and play with, and then deciding on your specialization. And we're really focused on having a kind of a generic race in the beginning.
Okay.
So you don't have to make the choice of being an Amar or Kaldari. You can actually play and learn and then expand into factional specialization. So
It's really interesting. Super cool. So,
Are you excited to see what the player reaction is going to be once people start going in and demoing?
yeah, and scared, but yeah,
Don't be scared.
a little bit worried.
Eve
but
players are so forgiving.
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Eve players there who didn't own PS3s that are going to be super eager to try out on the PC
I
when
hope
the
so,
time
and
comes.
encourage everyone to come and try it out. But like I said, I'm a shooter, and this feels like a shooter. It's a good shooter. Right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So encourage everyone to come in at 3.
Yes, so from 3 p.m. straight after Eve keynote ends, everybody will be able to come in and play. If you feel like you have a lot of feedback to give us, CCP Ratatti and me will be around to chat with us after you've played a match or two. And we do have mission debrief area as well, where you can just sit down with us and just chat, relax a little bit, and go ahead and tell us everything that you.
I'll definitely be pumped
feel.
out to try it out for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You'll probably have to queue up because we're trying to make a concrete kind of battle experience. So it's not just sit down and shoot something. So you queue up and you play an actual 6v6 match. Probably
How long is each match?
10 minutes or so.
Do we get to circumvent the queue on account of these
If
shirts?
you have a badge, you may.
Cool.
Swag.
Yeah. So, I think that's pretty much wrapping us up for this segment.
Yep.
Unless you have any other questions for us? No?
Happy to be back if you have more questions later.
Cool. Well, we'll leave it there and we'll pass it back over to the schedule. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you downstairs.
Okay, pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.